The starter Pokemon for Legends ZA were just announced and the reaction was mixed at best. At worst, well... Me, personally, I like it a lot. I'm one of the 6 Chikorita fans and I'm a big fan of the other 2 as well. So I decided to do a hardcore Nuzlocke of Pokemon Y using just these guys. That means I'll be playing on set mode, not using healing items in battle, and if a Pokemon faints, it's gone forever. So, can the world's least favourite starter Pokemon go all the way in their new region? Let's find out. Our journey begins by taking a long hard look in the mirror, something the people being mean to these Pokemon need to do. Anyway, we meet our new pals who have some interesting ideas for my new nickname. So, after choosing a more fitting one myself, we're able to get our starter Pokemon. This is Froakie, who is everything my real starter Pokemon are not. Popular. We use this dumb frog to beat up Shauna and it's time to introduce my real starter Pokemon. We have Pizza the Chikorita, Bonanza the Totodile and Hamza the Tepig. I've left the IVs and natures random, but I did give these guys their hidden abilities. Honestly, Bonanza is the only one who benefits from this, so I probably shouldn't have done it. Anyway, with the team assembled, we make our way up to Santaloon Forest. Now, nothing really happens here, but I would love it if somebody could explain this puzzle to me. There's not much else to do but take on the gym, and we lead things off with Pizza. That's right, Chikorita is so good we can even use him in a bug-type gym. Surskit doesn't have any bug moves, and as it falls to poison damage, we use Synthesis to get back up to full health. We hit Vivillon with Poison Powder and get the hell out, switching into Hamza, who is able to secure us badge number 1 with a couple of embers. Bug badge secured, we head up to Lumiose City where we meet with... Anyway, Professor McDreamy challenges us to a 3-on-3 battle, and there is nothing his loser starters can do against us, as we prove this is the greatest starter trio of all time. Professor McDreamy insists we take one of these losers, so I reluctantly take Charmander, who will be my HM slave from now on, which is honestly more than he deserves. We then run into the biggest op in the Kalos region. This absolute bum yaps about how the new ZA starters suck and then storms off. Now, there's an absolute mountain of gameplay between badges 1 and 2 and nothing exciting really happens. The entire team does evolve, and I have to say, I think the middle evos for these guys are so cool. I really don't get why they're so hated. Anyway, next up is Grant, and it's Hamza's time to shine. On the first turn, he's only able to land 2 arm thrusts as Amora gets a paralysis off. As Grant heals, Hamza locks in and takes out Amora with another arm thrust. In comes Tyrant, who's only able to land 2 stomps as Hamza thrusts him into the next life, winning us the Cliff Badge. Just as we're about to leave Geosenge Town, we get jumped by Karina. Luckily, Hamza is still locked in and he's able to take out both of her Lucarios with some flame charges. This clears the way for us to go through Reflection Cave, and there are 2 massive threats here. First up, we can encounter Wobbuffets, who are a massive pain to deal with. Secondly, we can run into Hedwig, who is rocking a Throw and a Holucha. If you haven't noticed, 66% of our team are weak to flying types, which is not ideal. Anyway, Repel secured, we're able to safely dodge Hedwig and make our way to Shalor City. Now, Shalor Gym is a bit of a nightmare. You have to take on every gym trainer and they have some seriously tricky Pokemon, so we have to do a bit of prep. I pick up the Eviolite from this guy in Shalor City and grab the TM for Aerial Ace in Connecting Cave. We also almost get taken out by a random Mienfoo, which is not a good omen when your next stop is a fighting type gym. We very carefully navigate the gym trainers and it's time for Karina, who leads with Mienfoo. The newly evolved Bonanza is making his gym debut here and he sets up a Swords Dance before getting the KO with Aerial Ace. Holucha is up next and this thing is scary. Bonanza tanks a Flying Press which activates his Citrus Berry, and after a couple turns of healing we get the KO with Aerial Ace. Last up is Machoke, and I'm in no shape to be taking risks, so Bonanza comes back and Machoke goes down to a combination of Pizza and Hamza. And as we get the Rumble Badge, Pizza evolves. So, remember 7 seconds ago when we fought Karina? Or 3 minutes ago when we fought Karina? Well, we get to do it all over again at the Mega Evolution Tower. Unfortunately, none of my Pokemon can Mega Evolve just yet, so we're stuck with Lucario. If you could give any Pokemon a Mega Evolution in Legends ZA, who would it be? Let me know down in the comments. Anyway, Mega Evolution secured, we're then given a Lucario. We're also then immediately given a Lapras. This game is so nice to you. What's not nice is the fact Bonanza has already hit the level cap for the next gym. It's been pretty smooth sailing so far, but being stuck with 3 Pokemon means you have to be super careful with experience management. Serena, unaware of my EXP related struggles, challenges us to a battle outside of the gym. Bonanza takes out Meowstic before Hamza faces off against Quilladin. I cannot believe the hate Chikorita gets when this thing exists. Anyway, Serena's Pokemon are no match for us and it's time for the gym. So the plan to avoid any over leveling is to slap the TM for return on Pizza and bonk everything, which he happily does. Now, for the first time in Pokemon history, Jumpluff is a threat. It can hit everyone on the team with a stab boosted super effective move. So we lead with Bonanza, who is able to tank a Drasna and subsequently get the KO with Ice Fang. Out comes Weeping Bell, who isn't a threat, so we go into Hamza who gets the KO. Ramos then sends out his ace, Gogo, who does have Bulldoze. I think we can take a hit with Hamza, so I fire off a Flame Charge which does just over half. Now, I know we're faster, so we go for another Flame Charge and Gogo survives. This is not good, as Gogo fires off a Bulldoze and Hamza just survives on 6 HP. Ramos heals as we fire off another Bulldoze and then switch into Pizza, who absolutely shuts this fight down. There is nothing Gogo can do, as the real GOAT cycles Reflect, Synthesis and Return to get us the win. Now this is a strategy I'll repeat throughout this run, so I'd like to officially welcome you to the
メガニウムの超最高でクールな死の監獄
Now, I'm going to sound like a broken record, but we are once again up against the level limit. And as we're forced to rescue the power plant from Team Flare, help me, I'm stuck, step bro. Bonanza goes past the level cap. So, with Bonanza in the box, it's up to Pizza and Hamza to win us badge number 5. Clement starts things off with a Molga, which is once again not ideal, and Hamza is able to get the KO with Heat Crash. Next up is Magneton, so we go into Pizza, who's able to get the KO with a couple of Bulldozes. Clement then sends out his ace, Heliolisk. We survive a crit, but thanks to Bulldoze we're faster, so we can get back to full health with the Synthesis. Clement tries to heal, but it's too late for him. Heliolisk is locked in the
メガニウムの超最高でクールな死の監獄
and there is nothing he can do. Pizza gets us the win and the badge number 5. Who's the crap starter now, punks? Anyway, there's a bit too much positivity surrounding this team, so the Kalos region's #1 redditor summons us to his cafe to tell us how bad my Pokemon are. Luckily, Professor McDreamy is on hand to cheer us up. Damn, he's just so handsome. On Route 14, Serena challenges us to another rival battle, but just like always, she's no problem for the greatest starter trio of all time. There's really not much else to do but take on the next gym, and this one is all Hamza. We use Valerie's Mawile to set up 2 power-up punches before finishing things off with a Flame Charge. This means we're able to outspeed and overpower both Mr. Mime and Sylveon, winning us badge number 6. So, with badge number 6 secured, we go on a little side quest to find out how Pokeballs are made. There's no hand holding or special cuddles involved though, and it's actually just Team Flare, who we beat up again. We then get a Snapchat from Lysandre, who does some more yapping about how bad the starters are. Honestly, I'm past the point of listening to his nonsense though. I'm absolutely loving these guys, which makes almost losing Hamza to a random Drifblim all the more scary. Next up is Frost Cavern, which is no joke. It's full of really strong fighting type trainers, and I accidentally run into this double battle. Hamza gets violated yet again, but is able to clutch it up. We take out Team Flare and rescue this Abomasnow. Safely in Anastar, we find ourselves in yet another rival battle with Serena. This goes exactly like the other fights, but this time she has a Vaporeon. Speaking of Vaporeon, did you know that only 4.5% of the people who watch my videos are subscribed? If you do find yourself enjoying the videos, it would be really cool if you could subscribe. I've got loads of videos just like this on the way. I also foolishly said I'd do a 24-hour live stream if I get to 1000 subscribers, so maybe you could help me get there. Anyway, it's time to take on Olympia, who leads with Sigilyph. She sets up Reflect, but Hamza has other ideas, as he lands a massive critical hit Flame Charge, which means we're able to get the KO with another Flame Charge on the next turn. Next up is Slowking, and this thing is a nightmare. Now, I would really like to have Pizza awake, at full health, and under a light screen from Meowstic, so there is a lot of switching to cancel out yawns, which Slowking just seems to spam back to back. Slowking eventually does fall to toxic damage as we switch into Pizza on a fake out. Things get immediately scary as Meowstic sets up a Calm Mind as we go for toxic. Things then get instantly more scary as Meowstic goes for yet another Calm Mind as we set up Light Screen. Things are not looking good as we get absolutely rocked with a Psychic, and all I can do is use Synthesis to get some health back. We then find ourselves out of Synthesis PP and it's looking like this is it for attempt number 1, as Meowstic goes for Psychic again and Pizza hangs on with 4 HP. This means he's free to take out Meowstic with a Petal Dance, winning us bash number 7 and adding yet another victim to the
メガニウムの超最高でクールな死の監獄
So now there's a whole bunch of Team Flare stuff to do. Lysandre clearly can't handle the fact these guys are going all the way, so he decides to blow up the entire region. This results in 3 basically back-to-back fights with him. The first one in Lumiose City is pretty easy, and after making our way through the base, we get tricked into pushing the big orange Doomsday button. This sends us on our way to Geosenge Town for a much rougher fight with Lysandre. He leads with Mienshao, which is a menace, but Hamza is able to take care of it. Pizza then adds another victim to the
メガニウムの超最高でクールな死の監獄
before Bonanza cleans up the rest of his team. Truthfully, that was brutal, and after taking on an army of pit bulls and catching the legendary Pokemon Yveltal, it's time to do it all over again. Now, I'll be honest, I didn't realise Yveltal was added to the front of the party here, so on the first turn I switch into my HM slave who gets knocked out and we start things properly. I hope this little workaround was okay. My bad. Anyway, Mienshao goes down to Bonanza and Hamza is able to thug it out and take down Pyroar. Bonanza comes back in to take out Honchkrow and Pizza adds Mega Gyarados to the
メガニウムの超最高でクールな死の監獄
However, Lysandre still refuses to accept this is the greatest starter trio of all time and decides to blow up Geosenge Town, which, in my opinion, is a little bit OTT. Now that all is good in the world, we make our way to Kuriwe Town for a face-off with Professor McDreamy and his inferior starter trio. Given the fact these guys are goated, this fight is pretty easy, but what's coming next is not. You see, on Route 19, we have a mini gauntlet of rival fights. First up is Shauna, and Bonanza is able to take out her Delcatty and Goodra pretty easily, but her Delphox hits hard with Psychic. Now, if you're not convinced by Meganium at this point, I really don't know what to tell you. Pizza comes in and claims yet another victim. Next up is Tierno, and we are thrust straight into it without any heals. Luckily, his Talonflame goes for Sword Stance, and Bonanza gets the KO with Surf. Up next is Roserade, who only has one move. So we go into Pizza, who adds another poor helpless soul to the
メガニウムの超最高でクールな死の監獄
Last up is Crawdaunt, who doesn't stand a chance. Finally is Trevor, and we're blessed with a heal before this one. Raichu is then thrown in the
メガニウムの超最高でクールな死の監獄
Aerodactyl goes down to Surf, and Hamza takes out Florges. So with that out of the way, we head along to the Pokemon village and grab Wulfric for an ass whooping. We deserve an ice treat, and thankfully this fight is exactly that. Hamza solos his entire team. That does however mean we have 8 badges, and from here on out there are no more easy fights. Before we take on the Elite Four, we make our way through Victory Road, where we have one final rival fight with Serena, which turns out to be pretty uneventful. So we get the squad up to level 65, and it's time to see if these guys can become champions. I decide to do Wikstrom first, as his steel type should be pretty easy for these guys. Klefki goes down to a power up punch and flame charge from Hamza, but Probopass has Sturdy, which means we're on the receiving end of an earth power. After a heal, we take Probopass down and Aegislash comes in. We're unable to get the KO and we just survive a Shadow Claw. Thankfully, Aegislash goes down next turn and we're faced with Vikstrom's final Pokemon, Caesar. This guy has Bullet Punch, so Hamza isn't able to get the clean sweep as we switch out to Bonanza, who cleans things up with 2 waterfalls. 1 down, 3 to go. Next up is Siebold and his water types, so you already know it's Pizza's time to shine. Now, we fall just short of the KO with Energy Ball on Klawitzer, which means we both heal back up to full health on the second turn. We then repeat this exact series of events before Pizza pulls the finger out and gets the KO on the third time of asking. Barbaracle is much easier, going down to a single Energy Ball. Now for the real threat, Gyarados. Unlike the other Gyarados we've faced before, this one has Ice Fang. However, he just goes for 3 Dragon Dances, which means Pizza can take him out with 3 Energy Balls. Last up is Starmie, who can only muster up a Light Screen and a Psychic, so Pizza is able to complete his sweep with a few more Energy Balls, adding Siebold and his entire team to the
メガニウムの超最高でクールな死の監獄
Now, if you enjoyed watching a Gen 2 starter Pokemon sweep an Elite Four member, you're going to love this next fight. Up next is Drasna and her Dragon types, and it is Bonanza's time to shine. He takes out Dragalge with an Earthquake, Altaria comes in and immediately falls to Ice Beam. Next up is Noivern, who does get a Super Fang off before falling to yet another Ice Beam. Last up is Druddigon, who is able to tank an Ice Beam, She does cause some mischief with Dragontail, but eventually Dragontail's Bonanza back into play, who finishes things off with another Ice Beam. Our final Elite Four member is Malva and her fire types. She leads off with Pyroar, who uses Noble Roar to drop her attack, which does mean Bonanza isn't able to get the KO with Waterfall. This does mean she wastes her full restores healing it up though, which is actually pretty good for me. Bonanza eventually gets the KO with a critical hit, meaning he's at full health for Talonflame. After tanking a Brave Bird, Bonanza is able to get the KO with another Waterfall. Next up is Torkoal, so we switch into Hamza on a Stone Edge. We then trade Earthquakes, which leave us both hanging on, but Hamza is able to outspeed and get the KO on the next turn. Last up is Chandelure, and honestly we are not in a good position. Hamza is one attack away from going down, and I'm not convinced Bonanza can outspeed. So I make the really difficult decision to switch to Pizza on a Shadow Ball. On the next turn, we protect to get some health back. Now, we are able to outspeed, landing a really big Earthquake, but it's not enough, as Chandelure fires off a Flamethrower, which takes out Pizza. Now, I've done a lot of Nuzlockes in my time, and I've seen a lot of Pokemon go down, but this one stung. I was really rooting for Pizza to go all the way here. The amount of hate I've seen towards the Chikorita line has been ridiculous. If you're one of those people, I really hope Pizza was able to change your mind. Rest in peace, you big diva. You did yourself and your entire species so much justice. Thankfully, Bonanza is able to come in and get the revenge kill on Chandelure, meaning we've taken down all 4 members of the Elite Four. That means all that stands between us and victory is the champion, Diantha. Still raw from the loss of Pizza, Bonanza sets off on an absolute rampage. He takes a critical hit Flying Press from Holucha before getting a one-hit KO with Ice Beam. He's then able to outspeed and take out Aurorus, Gourgeist, and Tyrantrum before facing off with Goodra. Ice Fang isn't quite enough to get the one-hit KO, and we take a Dragon Pulse. This causes Diantha to waste a few turns healing up, which only serves to annoy Bonanza more, as he gets a critical hit Ice Fang, meaning all that's left is Diantha's ace, Mega Gardevoir. Bonanza is able to outspeed, but he falls agonisingly short with a Waterfall, which means Gardevoir is free to use Thunderbolt, ending the run for Bonanza. Now, Totodile is my go-to for a Johto playthrough, so I am well aware of how good Feraligators can be, but this performance from Bonanza was ridiculous. Thank you so much for your help, big guy. We'd not have gotten this far without you. So, the entire run comes down to this, as Hamza faces down Mega Gardevoir. As Diantha heals up with a full restore, Hamza hits a Flame Charge to increase his speed. This doesn't do a whole lot of damage, but it gives Hamza just enough of a boost to outspeed Gardevoir on the next turn. Now it really is do or die. Given the damage Flame Charge just did, this next attack is going to be really close. So we close our eyes, click on Earthquake, and Hamza gets the KO, winning us the battle and the entire run. I'll be honest, I used to think that other Unova starters were way better than Emboar, but Hamza has just earned himself a special place in my heart. He's been insane this entire playthrough, and I am so proud of him for making it all the way. So that's it. Pizza, Bonanza and Hamza were able to take the Kalos region by storm. Who knows what the future will hold for them here. Will it be megas, new forms, something different? All I know is that these guys were incredible for me, and I had so much fun tearing through this game with them. I hope this playthrough was able to shine them in a new light, and if you've ever doubted them before, maybe you can give them a chance yourself and see what you think. Anyway, that's all from me today. Thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it just as much as I enjoyed making it. My name is Drasna and I'm pretty new here on YouTube. I'm just getting started with these videos, so it would be really cool if you could like, comment and subscribe. It really helps me out and you won't want to miss any of the runs I've got coming up. Anyway, that's all from me today. Thank you so much for watching and I'll see you next time.